Good evening, hockey fans, and welcome to San Jose. I'm outside the Shark Tank where the Toronto Maple Leafs are taking on the San Jose Sharks tonight. Not only will I have a recap of that game, I will also have news from Detroit and a report from British Columbia about Vancouver. And in the AHL, you have the Toronto Marlies going up against the Sharks organization tonight. Some real interesting news, such as 3 NHL players from the Maple Leafs organization, emergency fill-ins for the Marlies. They play against the Sharks tonight. We will have more news about those 3 players and what's going on in the rest of the league when we go back to the studio. But before we go, tonight, the Toronto Maple Leafs taking on the San Jose Sharks. The Toronto Maple Leafs, after making a blockbuster trade for Bernie Inert and Kryptonite, we have good news. Kryptonite will report to the Maple Leafs organization Sunday night. He's been away on personal business. Something went wrong with his family. We hope all is well with his family. But don't worry, folks. He is back. And as for the trade with Bert and Ernie, the trade for Bert and Ernie has sparked an offense. An offense so big, it was like a slumbering giant. Just this week, they had 2 games against Calgary where they scored 16 goals total. They won a game 9-3, and they won a game 7-1. Unbelievable. And then they had a 3-0 shutout against St. Louis. They beat Nashville 5-2. Where has this been? We don't know. But this has sparked an offense in Toronto, and tonight they have a chance to finish up the week strong at 6-3. Currently, they sit 5-3 going into tonight. We'll have more on that story and the other stories from the VHL, including the AHL, when we get back to the studio.
The Penalty Box, brought to you in part by Pro Shop Talk with Frank and BP, Sundays, VHL Radio.
Welcome back to the studio, hockey fans. As for that San Jose-Toronto game, here are the statistics for that game. Toronto went out strong in the first period and got the first period goal on a goal by Avery. Avery scores in the first period to give Toronto a 1-0 lead. In the second, Avery scores again for Toronto, going up 2-0, but San Jose comes back and makes it 2-1 in the second. And in the third period, the San Jose goal in the second period was scored by Cheese Whiz. In the third period, San Jose comes back, Reggie Hauser with the game-tying goal late in the third period. But in overtime, like so many this year for Toronto, Uncanny comes up and roofs one over the shoulder of True Killer for San Jose and wins the game 3-2 for Toronto. Toronto has yet to lose the game in overtime. They've knocked off opponents, including the New York Islanders, who are hot right now. The final score was 3-2. Uncanny with the game-winning goal finished tonight with 1 goal and assist and 2 points. Avery had 2 goals with 2 points. June Master, an AHL call-up for the game, 1 assist. And Master, 32, another AHL call-up for the Maple Leafs, 1 assist for him. USC Goopy, MBK Goopy, faced 12 shots and made 10 saves. For the San Jose Sharks, Cheese Whiz and Reggie Hauser had the goals, and True Killer in net faced 8 shots and stopped 5. Toronto 3, San Jose 2. And now for the Toronto Marlies scores, who is also facing the Sharks. The Toronto Marlies and the Worcestershire Sharks have a little bit of a rivalry going. In Game 1 of their series, Toronto fell to the Sharks. In Game 2, Toronto wanted to come back for payback. Unfortunately, their goaltender, Little Joker, has been suffering from flu-like symptoms, and his performance showed that. The Sharks come out and unleash a whooping, scoring 5 goals in the first period, led by Wakabayashi, who had a hat trick in the first period, and also Aaron Madness had 2 goals in the first period. Jaron Aiden for the Sharks scored another goal late in the second to go up 6-1. For Toronto, Blackheart scored the goal in the second period to try and mount a comeback, and later in the third, Vanek, who was an emergency call-up to the AHL, he had to substitute for another player who has been sick, along with E.G. Hazy and Darth Forsberg. All 3 NHL players were call-ups to help out their minor league organization. Hazy on defense, left defense, had 4 penalty minutes with 7 hits. The goon of all goons, Darth Forsberg, who took offense to Wakabayashi scoring his 3rd goal. It turns out Wakabayashi, during his goal celebration, got a little too close to the Toronto goaltender. Gave him a little bit of a snow wash. Forsberg took offense to that and made it a point to hit Wakabayashi for the rest of the game, every chance he could. He had 13 penalty minutes with 7 hits. Forsberg was unable to be reached for comment after the game, as was Wakabayashi. However, Little Joker, the goalie for Toronto, was quoted as saying, "Having Forsberg on the ice was a real motivational, inspiration to our team. Yeah, I may have played like crap in the first period, but it won't happen again. He showed me through determination and skill, you can overcome any odds. And believe me, folks, Toronto sent a message. They may have been beat on the scoreboard, but they sure as hell brought the pain to Sharks to let them know the next time they face each other, it won't be easy street." That goon Forsberg, I don't know. Personally, I love the goon, but come on. You're hitting a guy, you're getting 13 penalty minutes? I mean, I know you're losing, but you don't need to do that. We'll be right back with more information from around the league after this quick break. Don't go away.
VHL. Legends will be made. Trouble in Vancouver. Vancouver is coming off of a 5-game winning streak, only to suffer their worst record for a week this season, 0-9. Only once during this week did they score more than 3 goals. They had 5 games with 2 goals. Goals for in the league, they're 27th in the NHL for 1.9 average. Goals against are 26 with a 3.1 average. Goals total, 27th in the league with 50. Goals against, they're 25th in the league with 84. Shots against, they are last in the league, facing the most 477 total shots. Currently overall, they're 28th in the league. Their power play is also in dead last. Now, they had a 5-game winning streak last week, only to suffer 0-9 this week. Their GM, ownership group, and team captain were unable to be reached for comment. We will be covering this story and more as it develops from British Columbia, Vancouver. Now back to the penalty box. Detroit, Michigan. This early in the season, the Detroit Red Wings and its players have seen their fair share of ups and downs. A quick 4-0 jump on the competition, including a romping of top team Atlanta, gave Detroit the confidence it possessed late last season and far into the Stanley Cup Finals. A series of IR movements of 2 key players forced Detroit to make a few questionable moves concerning their franchise. These moves may have affected Detroit in the short run negatively, but in the long run they have developed several strong rotations of players. A streak of games that had Detroit with 0 back-to-back victories in 7 games, quite a rarity at this point in this young franchise, seemed to end abruptly with the return of star forward Sechmo Davis. A short IR stint may have given him the rest needed for this long and grueling season. The early season points leader before the move to the IR, he has since picked up where he left off with an astonishing 18 points to help Detroit get back on the tracks. This season has nowhere to go but up for the Red Wings, as they are currently 13-4 in the last 17 games and only looking to get stronger through trading and the AHL. Back to the penalty box. Boston's management releases a quote after a 7-game winning streak to end the Week 3. Quote, "A number of opposing teams and players have complimented us on our success this season. It's definitely been a refreshing change from last year when we were with the Canucks organization that didn't even make the playoffs." Quotes Ricochet, who took over as interim owner near the end of Season 2 and able to put his mark on his own team this time around after being taken on as a permanent owner. "I'd just like to thank all of the guys that are taking care of business on and off the ice. We have a great management team and a group of players, and I'm happy to see them rewarded with success in the standings." More on this story later.
Well, hockey fans, that's how we have for this show. We'll be keeping up with these stories and more across the VHL, both AHL and NHL. But until then, we will see you at center ice when the puck drops. Good night.